Okay, what is going on, everyone? Before we get into the show, I'd like to take the time and welcome the newest member of the show on board, joining us for the first time today. Josh, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on, Cam? How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great. And of course, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, man. Ladies, do your thing. You deserve it.
Absolutely. And today's going to be Rewind number 24. And for this show, we are doing WWE Money in the Bank 2011. So this show was in July of 2011, but since it is Money in the Bank on this day, May the 3rd, or no, it's May the 10th. Whoops, I got my calendar backwards.
I think it's May the 9th. Oh, no, it is the 10th. You're right.
It is the 10th. Oh, well, I'm right now. I was wrong the first time. But I figured that since it is Money in the Bank today, and this is for the Rewind edition, and we like to keep themes here, especially, when you could do like classic pay-per-views from the past for each event. I was thinking that, it wasn't July, but if you're going to do a Money in the Bank Rewind, then what better show to choose to start off the bat than Money in the Bank 2011?
That's true, man. When you said 2011, I went into it with a completely open mind. You told me that it was CM Punk versus Cena was the main event, and I was hooked. Aside from that, man, I don't think I had watched this pay-per-view in the last, maybe since it happened, to be honest with you. So I was completely just going into it almost blind, and what a treat it was. That's the best Money in the Bank. I know we're going to get into ratings, and I know we're going to get into things, but it's the best Money in the Bank pay-per-view, hands down.
Yeah, no, I think it was a great show as well. A couple things I want to point out, though, before we start is one thing being that if you have not done so yet, be sure to go ahead and listen to the most recent Rewind show that was done by myself, WWE Judgment Day 2002. So go check that out, please. And be sure to subscribe to JNC Radio here on Spreaker.com. Also, be sure to follow us over on Spotify as well. If you are an Apple user, subscribe to the show through Apple Podcasts. And for all future programming, including JNC Radio, Rewinds, pay-per-view, review and recaps and everything, we're on all major platforms, including the ones I just named. So be sure to go ahead and do so if you haven't already. Subscribe, follow, whatever. And also coming up for the month of May, we have, of course, the lineup here. We did Judgment Day 2002 last week. We're doing Rewind 24 here, WWE Money in the Bank 2011. And for tomorrow's show, Monday at 11, when you guys get it, of course, we'll have the 2020 Money in the Bank pay-per-view review and recap as well. And then for the following Sunday, May 17th, for JNC Rewind number 25, it'll be Judgment Day 2007. That show will feature Edge versus Batista for the World Heavyweight title, Chris Benoit, an MVP in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the United States title. And in the main event, we have John Cena one-on-one with the Great Khali for the WWE Championship. So we'll see how that one goes.
You had to throw that last one in there. You had me hooked. I was like, holy crap, what is this pay-per-view that I don't remember? John Cena versus the Great Khali.
No, you're Edge versus Batista for the world title, Benoit MVP, 2 out of 3 falls, U.S. title, and then it's like, then I was trying not to laugh as I was saying it, but
I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. I totally understand. So then after that, we're gonna switch things up a bit. Usually the rewinds come on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon. You'll get it in this case, and the pay-per-view review and recaps come on Monday at 11, but we're going to flip that around for the weekend, and we're going to have our All Elite Wrestling, AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view event. We're going to have that review and recap for the Sunday show, and then we'll have the Rewind up on Monday, which will be Rewind number 26, Judgment Day 2008. That card features JBL versus John Cena, Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho, Edge versus Undertaker for the world title, and then in the main event, Randy Orton and Triple H in a steel cage match for the WWE Championship.
Man, WWE was great.
2008 especially. Like, I think people really underappreciate that year. I know it's like a meme now, like on Twitter and stuff, because people keep sharing like how stacked the roster was at that time. There's like a picture of all of them together. and like people are kind of sick of seeing it because I guess it's been shared so many times. But no, in all honesty, though, it was a really underappreciated year. I think
Absolutely.
just the stars that they had at that time and solid booking, really.
Man, I'm excited. I'm excited moving forward here. Super excited.
So I mean, yeah, so that'll be great. And then we will have one final rewind at the end of the month. This will be on the 31st of May, of course. This show was on June 1st, but we figured, what's a day? So it's like we're going to go ahead and just do it on the 31st there to get out of the way. So Sunday, May 31st, we're going to have One Night Stand 2008, probably definitely one of my favorite pay-per-views of 2008. Probably my second, if I had to choose between that and other things, I'd say that's number 2, and probably WrestleMania 24 is my first. But which, of course, cheap plug number 1. That's a show that Joe and I did back in April last month for our string of the Mania Rewinds. So if you're a big fan of that Mania and you haven't heard that yet, it's not too late. I know we're past the Mania season, but if you have time, feel free to check out that one. And then it's not ECW One Night Stand at this point. That may be coming. Spoilers, maybe. For WWE One Night Stand 2008, it'll be Batista versus Shawn Michaels in a stretcher match, Triple H versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship in the Last Man Standing match, as well as Edge and Undertaker in the main event for the World Heavyweight title in a TLC tables, ladders, and chairs match. I look forward to going and reliving that one again, for sure.
Can we build a time machine and go back to this?
I know. I wish I was in 2008 right now.
Are you kidding me right now?
I know. It's like these cards were stacked. These cards were so stacked.
This sounds like somebody threw in WWE 2K19 because 2K20 is broken.
Yeah.
And just started making dream matches. This sounds like a Saudi show, man. This is, wow. 2008, what a time to be alive.
Seriously. No, that's for sure. So, so that's it for, the reminders before we get into it. But before we get into the card itself, let's take this time, like always, for every rewind to go back and give a little backstory as to how this event all came together. So this show would mark the second ever Money in the Bank pay-per-view. The first one was back in 2010. And right now, as we speak, we're coming up on the 11th annual Money in the Bank show, if you could believe that. Before Money in the Bank became a pay-per-view, of course, from 2005 to 2010, it has served as a match featured on the WrestleMania card, starting at WrestleMania 21, going all the way through WrestleMania 26. I, for one, actually kind of preferred the match being at Mania because typically the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, for the most part, maybe that the last couple years weren't as great, but I primarily thought of it as being overall like a good show, or they're usually like good pay-per-views. But I kind of preferred it at Mania just for the fact that I just think that when somebody won the Money in the Bank match at Mania, I mean, of course they're Mr. Money in the Bank and they had the briefcase and the future title opportunity. But I just felt that it was just a bigger, in the sense of, I mean, yeah, the Money in the Bank is now its own pay-per-view, but I thought when it was at Mania it was a bigger deal because you're doing it at WrestleMania. So I thought it just would be a bigger moment, and it's even like a WrestleMania moment as well.
Cam, as you were saying that, I was just thinking about it too. I mean, it even throws in that added suspense of, could they cash it in that night?
Yeah.
With all the main events and with all the title changes and with all the championship matches, you win it early in the night, and then who knows? You're always looking around the corner until you see that little WWE logo pop up in the bottom right corner. You never know that the night's over. You never know what's going to happen. So I agree with you that I think having it on Mania has a certain feel to it. I think it elevates people. As we're going to talk about one of the matches that we watched, we felt that one was better than the other, and could it have benefited from being on a WrestleMania? Would it have kind of elevated it? And I think it's a great way to just get people on WrestleMania. I mean, you're throwing 8 people in a match. Everybody wants their WrestleMania moment. What a better way to do that than those certain type of matches, like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and the Money in the Bank ladder matches. So I like that it's its own pay-per-view. Is kind of what we've come to know for the last 11 years. Like what you said, I can't believe it's been 11 years that this has been its own pay-per-view. But I also just It's a good Mania moment as well.
Yeah. No, that's I could agree with that as well. So I think I mean it's fine that it's its own pay-per-view. I mean, like there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I guess that shows like how significant and like I guess the magnitude of the match is, or the like in terms of like it being able to be so big that it's got its own pay-per-view now. So I guess there's that side of it too. But yeah, I liked it when it was a Mania match. Although if it's not at Mania, I do think that there's definitely a place for a ladder match to be at WrestleMania. I love a WrestleMania with a ladder match on it. Period.
Couldn't agree more.
Like this year, they had a ladder match on it, which I thought overall was, I guess, even that was, I thought it was pretty good. I just, I couldn't get into the concept of it, but.
No, you're one. I'm not saying anything because I agree with you.
Yeah. No, because I'm not trying to get off track with that, but I mean, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I guess you could say it real quick. I guess the idea of defending the tag titles in a triple threat ladder match where it's like 1v1v1. And it's like, I don't know. I think tag titles should only be defended in like tag team matches.
It kind of goes against what we've known as a Money in the Bank ladder match and what we know as tag team ladder matches and what we know as just the way the tag team championships should be defended. So was it a bad match? No. Are we here to talk about WrestleMania? No, but we're going to talk about that anyways because it's got something to do with ladder matches.
Oh, yeah. So, and I appreciate you pointing that out because I kind of backed up me getting off track with that. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, that it kind of defeats the principles that, we've been taught with tag titles are defended like in tag team matches and whatnot. But so that's there. Other than that, I mean, if that was like a three-way, if that same match was like a triple threat ladder match and that was like for a singles title, I would have been all for it. Completely behind it. That was great. In that sense.
Strange times we live in. They had to make some calls and they had to change some things up for the safety of people. And
of course,
it is what it is. We'll look back on it as what it was, and they executed it pretty well. So,
yeah, I thought overall what they did with that show was, I thought that show came out like, I thought it was okay. I mean, like it wasn't great, but I didn't think it was bad. And I mean, I thought with all things considered, they tried to put on a show. So I mean, I commend them for that as I did then.
All right, let's get into this Money in the Bank before we turn this into a WrestleMania 35 recap.
Yeah. That's very true. And we already did that, so we don't need to do another one.
Go listen to it.
Yes, for sure. It's never too late. But in this show, we'd see two Money in the Bank matches. So we'd have one for Raw, where the winner would receive a WWE Championship title opportunity at any time, any place, anywhere, as they'd say. And then for the other one, we'd have a SmackDown ladder match, Money in the Bank, and the winner of that would challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship whenever they chose and pleased to. So the participants for the Raw ladder match would include The Miz, Rey Mysterio, Kofi Kingston, Alex Riley, Alberto Del Rio, R-Truth, Jack Swagger, and Evan Bourne. SmackDown's ladder match included Kane, who was the previous year's winner, actually, as a side note, Wade Barrett, Daniel Bryan, Cody Rhodes, Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel, Sin Cara, and Sheamus. So the participants for the WWE title Money in the Bank ladder match were announced on the June 27th edition of Monday Night Raw, and the participants for the SmackDown Money in the Bank were announced on the July 1st edition of Raw. Friday Night SmackDown. Whoops! Sorry. Now, the pay-per-view might be called Money in the Bank, and the Money in the Bank ladder match might be the usual selling point of this event, but I think it's safe to say for this one in 2011 that wasn't totally the case.
No, we again, when you told me that we were going to do Money in the Bank 2011, you said we're doing Money in the Bank 2011. John Cena versus
CM Punk, yeah. Yeah, so you just have these two, well, both of them had Hall of Fame careers. I mean, Punk isn't around now, and he's been gone for quite some time, but even the time he was there, he without a doubt had a Hall of Fame career. And Cena, one of the biggest names to ever be in the business. So, I mean, I just miss those kind of matchups.
Yeah, CM Punk should be in the Hall of Fame. He will be one day. Cena is Cena.